Breaking news. What's up, Lions family? Today is game day against the Packers, and honestly, the excitement couldn't be higher. The atmosphere feels different, the heart is racing, and confidence is building because we know this is our moment. Every practice, every battle, every drop of sweat has brought us here. Anything can happen on the field, but the faith that drives us is stronger than any obstacle. I've been sharing every step of this journey with you, every moment of our great blue and silver nation. And later today, God willing, I want to be celebrating with all of you. The energy is in the air. You can feel we're ready for something big. My heart is pounding, and I know yours is too. So please, drop a like on the video, show your support, and comment this: Go Lions, we serve, because our fans are the force that carries this team to victory. What if I told you that heading into this matchup against the Packers, the Detroit Lions have a weapon that Green Bay hasn't really seen yet? A player who, because of last season's injuries, has barely been on the field, but could completely change the way this defense operates. That player is Derek Barnes. Alongside Marcus Davenport and, of course, Aiden Hutchinson, Barnes represents a side of Detroit's defense that was stripped away too early last season. Both Barnes and Davenport were lost by Week 3, and in the limited 157 snaps where either of them played, the defense was statistically stronger across almost every category. Fewer yards per play, fewer yards per rush, fewer yards per pass attempt, and better numbers on third down. That's not a coincidence. That's impact. And now Barnes returns with a brand new contract, more responsibility, and a chance to step into a role the Packers haven't truly game planned for. Barnes is no longer just the guy filling a spot. He's become this versatile linebacker who can rush the passer, but also drop back into coverage, something Detroit desperately needed more of last season. Pair him with Alex Anzalone, and suddenly this defense can confidently line up man-to-man across the field. That's a nightmare for the Packers, who are already thin at wide receiver. Christian Watson is out, Jaden Reed is questionable, and while they did bring in rookie Matthew Golden and Savon Williams, that's hardly a group that should scare Detroit's secondary. Meanwhile, the Lions boast two corners who could easily be called number one guys plus two all-pro safeties. When you add Barnes into the mix, keeping tight ends in check and freeing Hutchinson to cause chaos, this defense looks different, more complete, more dangerous, and ready to push into top 10 territory.
And that's the part that isn't being talked about enough. We know how good this offense is. We know what Jared Goff and his weapons bring every week. But the defense? Dan Campbell himself said it, our defense is good. Campbell doesn't throw that around lightly. When Davenport and Barnes are healthy alongside Hutchinson, this unit doesn't just improve, it transforms. Imagine Davenport logging 500 snaps, Barnes around 600. Suddenly, Detroit isn't just hoping to stop people, they're dictating games. That physicality, that scheme, that relentless pursuit of wearing opponents down, it's exactly what Campbell preaches. Of course, there are still questions. Graham Glasgow moving to center is one of them. Last season, Glasgow struggled badly at left guard, later admitting he hated playing there. But moving him back inside, where all the reports are positive, could solidify the middle of the line. That matters, because Detroit is going young at the guard spots, with a rookie and a later-round pick fighting for consistency. The question mark is real, but the scheme, skill players, and especially Goff's level of play cover up a lot. When Matt LaFleur calls Goff an MVP-caliber quarterback, that isn't just coach speak, it's recognition. And yet, national pundits still say they'd rather take Jordan Love? After Goff threw for 4,629 yards, 37 touchdowns, and completed 72% of his passes? That's not just good, it's elite. It's why the Lions are 3-1 against the Packers recently. What people forget is that Goff is only 30, entering the prime of his career. These next 5 years could be the best of his career, and with the roster around him, it sets Detroit up to compete every single season. And remember this, while the Bears have never had a quarterback throw for over 4,000 yards, the Lions are riding into Lambeau with a passer who just went nearly 4,700. That's the kind of stat that makes rival fan bases furious, because it shows just how far this team has come. So yes, we've spent the offseason talking about the offense, and that's fair, it's loaded. But the forgotten part of the equation is the defense, and Derek Barnes might be the hidden piece that flips everything. Think about it, Green Bay hasn't really seen this version of Detroit yet. Healthy Hutchinson, Davenport, Barnes, Anzalone, plus that secondary. That's a full-strength unit, and if they can sustain that across the season, we're no longer just talking about a good defense. We're talking about one of the league's very best. And that's what makes this game so intriguing. It's not just Goff versus Love. It's not just about Lambeau or divisional bragging rights. It's about whether Detroit's defense, with all its missing pieces finally in place, can show the NFL exactly how dangerous it really is. If they do, the Packers are in trouble, and the Lions might just cement themselves as the NFC's powerhouse. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Derek Barnes is the true X-factor heading into this matchup? And how much do you believe this defense can elevate with him and Davenport healthy again? Drop your thoughts below, because this might be the conversation that defines not just this game, but the Lions' entire season. And here's where things get even more fascinating. When you dig into the numbers from last season, the difference with Derek Barnes and Marcus Davenport on the field isn't just a small bump, it's dramatic. In the 154 snaps with either of them active, Detroit's defense shaved a full yard off yards per play, cut down rushing yards allowed by about a yard per attempt, and even forced quarterbacks into tougher situations through the air. On third downs, the success rate dropped significantly for opposing offenses. That's the kind of measurable impact that can completely tilt a game, especially against a Packers team that relies on Jordan Love making confident throws under pressure. And we all saw what happened last year when Love was disrupted, mistakes piled up, and Detroit capitalized. This season, the Lions won't have to blitz recklessly to create chaos. Last year, there were stretches when the defense survived by dialing up pressure over and over again. It worked until it didn't. Against certain teams, that aggressive style finally broke down, exposing holes. But now, with Barnes able to handle coverage responsibilities and Davenport adding that extra burst on the edge, Aaron Glenn can call a more sustainable defense. He can mix looks, trust his secondary, and rely on the front seven to win their matchups without needing constant blitzes. That balance is what championship defenses are built on. The Packers' situation only amplifies this advantage. No Christian Watson, a banged-up Jaden Reed, and rookies being thrown into the fire, it's not ideal for them. Sure, they'll lean on the run game, but Detroit has consistently been stout against the run, even without all their pieces healthy. Add in a defense now operating at full strength, and suddenly Green Bay's margin for error shrinks dramatically. One or two stalled drives early, and Detroit's offense, led by a quarterback playing the best football of his career, can open up a lead that forces Love to pass more than the Packers want. That's where Hutchinson, Barnes, and Davenport can pin their ears back and do what they do best, attack. And while we're on the offense, let's not overlook how important stability in the trenches will be. Graham Glasgow's move to center is one of the under-the-radar storylines that could define this season. At guard, he struggled, admitted he hated playing the position, and the performance backed that up. At center, though, he looks rejuvenated. All the reports from camp and practices point toward him looking comfortable, sharper, and more effective. That matters because Detroit is rolling with youth on both guard spots, which naturally brings some uncertainty. It doesn't mean they won't perform, it just means they're improving. But with a veteran like Glasgow anchoring the middle and Frank Ragnow mentoring him from afar during his recovery, this unit could still be strong enough to give Goff the protection he needs. Speaking of Goff, it's almost laughable how little national credit he gets. Look at the numbers again. 4,629 yards, 37 touchdowns, 72% completion rate. That's MVP-level production by any standard. Yet, week after week, you'll still hear people question him, still hear analysts say they prefer Jordan Love. Even after Matt LaFleur himself praised Goff as an MVP-caliber player, somehow the narrative outside Detroit refuses to shift. But inside Detroit, fans know the truth. This is the quarterback who has stabilized the franchise, who has given them not just competence but excellence, and who is now entering the prime of his career. At 30 years old, the next 5 years could be the most productive of his life. That's not hope. That's reality backed by performance. Put it all together, and you start to see the bigger picture forming. Detroit is not just a good team. They're a team built to win now and win consistently. The offense has its rhythm, its leader, its weapons. The defense is regaining pieces it missed and gaining the depth to evolve into something elite. This isn't the same Lions team from the past. It's a team that believes it belongs at the top of the NFC. And it's a team that has the results to prove it. So here's the real question. When you look at this matchup, when you think about Derek Barnes stepping into the spotlight, about Davenport finally making his presence felt, about Hutchinson doing Hutchinson things, and about Goff leading an offense that refuses to be denied, what do you expect to see on Sunday? Is this the moment where the Lions announce to the league, once and for all, that they are more than contenders, they are the team to beat? Or do you think the Packers will find a way to spoil it at Lambeau? Let me know in the comments, because this game feels bigger than just another divisional battle. It feels like the start of something much larger for Detroit. And when you zoom out, you realize just how pivotal this season can be for Detroit. Think about it. Last year, the Lions were already right on the doorstep, and that was with the defense missing key playmakers for most of the season. Now, with Barnes and Davenport back, Hutchinson hitting his stride, and the secondary as stacked as it's been in years, this unit could finally complement an offense that's already proven it can score with anyone in the league. That's the formula good teams have been missing for decades in Detroit, a balance where neither side of the ball has to overcompensate for the other. And the best part? This isn't just about one game against the Packers. This is about setting the tone for the entire NFC. Green Bay has been a thorn in Detroit's side for decades, but over the last few seasons, the Lions have flipped the script. 3 wins in their last 4 meetings against the Packers isn't luck, it's progress, it's growth, and it's a changing of the guard in the NFC North. Imagine walking into Lambeau Field and controlling the line of scrimmage, dictating tempo, and silencing a crowd that for years has expected Detroit to fold. That's not just another win. That's a statement to the rest of the league that the old narrative about the Lions no longer applies. Of course, rival fans and national analysts will keep searching for cracks. They'll question the young interior offensive line. They'll wonder if Barnes and Davenport can stay healthy over the course of an entire season. They'll doubt whether Goff can keep delivering at the same elite level. That's fine.